Hi, welcome to the small shed. This week my little loudspeaker, the Bluetooth one for the tablet, is broken, so I'm going to take that apart and see if I can do anything to repair it. See you in a minute. Hi, well there's just a very quick unbox this week. Just got one package come through. I think I know what it is, and if it is, it was a bit of a bargain, I think. The firm I bought the sharpening stones off were running an offer on Stanley goods that if you bought 3 Stanley items you got a free set of chisels. I bought a couple of tapes, a 3 metre and a 5 metre. Got myself a decent Stanley knife as well for the tool bag, because I'm always losing these, and I like the big Stanley work knives for heavy duty cutting. These little ones are okay for opening parcels, but they're not really any good when you come to a decent cutting job. And so I've got the one that retracts, so that should fit nicely in the tool bag. Clip on it for on the belt. So that's, say those together where I think that was, I don't know, a few pounds. These were three or four pounds maybe each. But the result of buying the 3 of them meant that I got that, which again, they're probably not the best of quality, but I'm not likely to understand or appreciate the best of quality at the moment. I've got some Stanley chisels, and usually I use them for opening tins of paint, so that shows the level of my competence, I think. There we are. So there's 3 brand new Stanley chisels there, so I've got no excuses. I've got the sharpening stones. All the information's out there on the internet as to how to sharpen them and hone them all up and make them perfect. So the New Year's resolution of using more hand tools and learning to sharpen stuff is beginning to take shape. Well, because my house Wi-Fi won't reach the shed, although it's only about 3 feet outside the back door, until I can get that sorted, I'm reliant upon entertainment from the tablet when I'm in the shed. And I had one of these small Bluetooth speakers that gives at least a reasonable amount of noise out of it. But unfortunately, being cheap and Chinese, it's lasted about 3 weeks and it's died. Not quite sure why. It's not holding charge, so there's something wrong with it. I'm just going to take it apart, have a look, and see if I can mend it in a minute. It's not likely to be something that will happen, but this week it's self-imposed and it's my own work that I'm doing. So we'll have a look inside it first. Now these things only cost a few pounds. They're not they're normally expendable items, but I just thought I'd have a look and see what's inside it and see how it works. It's first of all, the biggest problem is getting into it because it's pretty much a sealed box. So I think, yeah, start with just getting that out. Prise the grill off and see what's inside that we can get at. I don't expect there's a great deal in it anyway, not for the price they charge. I had thought about making a new housing for it altogether, but it's not really worth spending a lot of money on time, effort and that sort of thing on. That's it. It's basically just a pair of speakers and is. I think it's just a balancing, doesn't look like a speaker. Just take the screws out that we can see and see what happens. I suspect it was still working, it's just that the charge didn't hold in it, so I suspect that the little lithium batteries died in it, in which case got to be reasonably careful because they have a tendency to catch fire and all sorts. So treat it with a little bit of respect. Yeah, that's just a slug of metal that works on inside the cabin area there, that's pressurized, I presume, or it holds, it's airtight round there, so it'll just give the back of the speaker a chance to move the air inside. You can get inside it from there anyway. Let's take the other screws out and see if I can get the whole front off though. It looks initially as if it is the battery because it's swollen up. The lithium batteries tend to swell up when they get damaged. That lifts out, leaving 2 speakers. There's nothing very special, any of it. Pair of speakers. There's a printed circuit board in there, and the battery. And yes, that is looking decidedly odd. It's swollen. They get swollen when they're damaged. Right. Well, I've taken it apart. The problem was immediately apparent, and I didn't film it because it caught me unawares. The lithium battery pack, which was only about that big in there, had blown up like a pillow, which was indicating that it was in a fairly dangerous state. So with anything like that, I've just cut it off and immediately taken it outside and put into a metal container, so that if it does decide it wants to have a bit of a fizzle out, I'll let it. I have seen these things going off there's a good YouTube video I was watching the other day with a load of battery pack out of a Tesla going up, and it was going off like a rocket everywhere. It was like November the 5th, so they're not to be messed with. It's left me with the positive and negative batteries terminals to connect to. I'm assuming, and it's probably a bit of an assume too far, that there is some sort of regulatory circuitry in here that just stops these things overcharging, because sometimes they don't, they just let them take power, and that's what causes the problem. Time alone will tell. If I just take this battery pack, or the battery, out of this power bank, should be able to get it out, and then we'll see. But it should provide me with a much longer, that's not going to help, is it? Much longer charge, because it's about 3 or 4 times the size of the old one. And it should fit in here all right. Let's see. There we go. Now that, compared to the previous battery pack, was about that big. So what I'll do is I could work connecting up the USB power to the USB power on that one, and that I know will have some sort of regulatory charging circuit in it, but I will just at the moment unsolder these, reconnect the wires to it, slot it back in, and we're done. Quick and dirty, and if it blows up in the future, well, I'll know about it in here. I'll do them one at a time so I don't get it wrong. As I say, you've got to be careful with these things because they are potentially quite dangerous. They can go off quite dramatically. I suspect if I'd had a look on YouTube, I could have bought a battery for a lot less than the £2 that the power bank was, but it was to hand at the time and I don't use it very often, so it should be okay. That's it. Now I know it's charged up, so I'm assuming that if I switch it on,
Bluetooth mode.
looks like it's in yep, that's it, that's connected up, so that's working, that's a result. I'll just put a bit of tape around that, not so much to insulate it but to keep it all together, and then I'll probably just put a spot of Sino or something just to hold it in place in the bottom of the speaker there, because I'm pushing the limit on how much it will fit in there. It's, I think, as big as it'll get, I think, in there. That'll go into there. Yeah, that's fine. Splodge of super glue in there just to hold him down. Anything like that, hot melt or anything would have done, but I just don't want it moving around inside, because potentially at that point it could move and touch something positive to negative, and again you get the problems occurring then. A bit of super glue will just hold it in there. That's gone now, that's it, that's in solidly. So then it's just a matter of putting back the front cover. That one did only take a minute or two, so I'm quite pleased with that.
Bluetooth mode.
Great. So once again we've shown that a little bit of bravado ripping things apart, spending £2 in this case, can at least save something from going to landfill. It wasn't expensive in the first place, it was probably only £5 or £6 in the first place, but I don't think that's the point. I think it's the fact that there's now not a load of plastic, metal and stuff going to landfill, and it's got me where I want it to be. It's got me something with more capacity than it used to have. It'll last a lot longer, and it's provided me with a video as well. So if you like the video, please press like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week when we'll try and do something different. Bye!